let's begin with chapter 1. Chapter 1 is rational number. Rational number are those numbers which can be written in P upon Q form, where P and Q both are integers and Q can never be 0. As you can see, rational number are those numbers which can be written in P upon Q form, that is fractional form, where Q, that is denominator, can never be 0. In this chapter, we will learn total 3 things. First, the properties of rational number. Second, how to visualize any rational number on number line. And the third thing is how to find a rational number between any two rational number. Starting with the first topic, we will start with the properties. First property is addition of rational number, for which we have to learn total 5 sub-properties. First property is closure property. Second property is commutative property. Third property is associative property. Fourth property is additive identity. Last property is additive inverse. Starting with the first property, closure property. It states that when two rational numbers are added, the result is always a rational number. Second property is commutative property. It states that when two rational numbers are added, their addition is independent of their order. Third property is associative property. It states that when 3 or more than 3 numbers are added, their addition is independent of their order of addition. Fourth property is additive element. When 0 is added to any rational number, the rational number remains unchanged. And the last property is additive inverse. If the sum of two rational numbers is 0, then both numbers are additive inverse of each other. So starting with the first property, we have closure property. It states that A plus B is equal to C. 1 plus 2, they both are rational number, and the result is 3, which is also a rational number. Second property is commutative property. It states that addition of two rational number is independent of their order of addition. 1 plus 2 is 3. Likewise, 2 plus 1 is also 3. Third property is associative property. That is similar to commutative property. It includes two numbers, but associative includes more than two numbers. 1 plus 3 plus 4 is equal to 1 plus 3 plus 4. Using Bodmer's rule, if we solve this equation, we will get 8 is equal to 8. So it is independent of the order of addition. Fourth property is additive identity. When 0 is added to any rational number, the result is always same. There is no change in the rational number. That is 0 plus 5, there is no change in the rational number, the result is same, 5. Last property is additive inverse. It states that the addition of two rational numbers is 0, then both the rational numbers are additive inverse of each other. For example, 10 added to minus 10, the result is 0. So we can conclude that 10 additive inverse is minus 10, or additive inverse of minus 10 is plus 10. Now we will start with second property, that is subtraction of rational number, which includes only 4 properties. First property is closure property. Second property is commutative property. Third property is associative property. And the last property is property of 0. Closure property is same as we have studied in addition. That is, in addition, the sum of two rational number is always a rational number. Likewise, the closure property for subtraction is that the difference of two rational number is always a rational number. The commutative property for addition was that A plus B is equal to B plus A. But this property is not valid for subtraction. That is, A minus B is not equal to B minus A. For example, 5 minus 4 and 4 minus 5. Their difference result is not same. Similarly, commutative property is valid for two numbers, and for more than two numbers we have associative property, which is again not valid for subtraction. That is, A minus B minus C is not equal to A minus B minus C. With the example, you can easily understand the concept. The last property is property of 0. It states that when 0 is subtracted from any rational number, the result remains unchanged. For example, 3 is a rational number. When 0 is subtracted from 3, there is no change in the answer. That is, answer is 3 itself. Third property is multiplication of rational number, which includes these many properties. First property is closure property. Second, commutative and associative. Third, identity property. Fourth, multiplicative inverse. Fifth, property of 0. Sixth, distributive property of multiplication over addition. Starting with the first property, that is closure property. It states that when two rational numbers are multiplied, the resulting number is always a rational number. For example, a rational number 4 when multiplied by another rational number 3, the result is 12, which is also a rational number. Second property is commutative and associative property, which are valid for multiplication. They are independent of their order of multiplication. For example, if two numbers are multiplied 2 into 3 or 3 into 2, there is no change in the answer. Likewise, this property is valid for more than two numbers also, which we cover in associative property. Third property is identity property, which says that whenever a rational number is multiplied by 1, there is no change in the answer, that is, the number remains as it is. A rational number 10 when multiplied by 1, there is no change in the answer, the number remains as it is, that is 10. Next property is multiplicative inverse. When two numbers are multiplied such that their multiplication result is 1, then the numbers are said to be multiplicative inverse of each other. For example, a rational number 3 by 5 when multiplied by another rational number 5 by 3, the multiplicative result is 1. So we can conclude that multiplicative inverse of 3 by 5 is 5 upon 3 or vice versa. Next property is property of 0, which states that whenever a rational number is multiplied by 0, result is always 0. For example, minus 2 is a rational number when multiplied by 0. Answer is 0. The last property is distributive property of multiplication over addition, which states that A multiplied by B plus C is equal to A multiplied by B plus A multiplied by C. For example, 2 multiplied by 4 plus 3 is equal to 2 multiplied by 4, then plus 2 multiplied by 3. 4 plus 3, 7. When multiplied by 2 gives 14. 2 multiplied by 4 gives 8. 2 multiplied by 3 gives 6. 8 plus 6, total is 14. Now we shall begin with the last property, that is division of rational number, which includes three properties: closure property, commutative and associative property, and the last one is property of 1. Closure property states that whenever a rational number is divided by another rational number, the result is always a rational number. Commutative and associative properties are not valid for division. For example, A divided by B is not equal to B divided by A. 10 divided by 5 is not equal to 5 divided by 10, as the result is 2 and 1 and half. Commutative property includes only two rational numbers, and more than two rational numbers are included in associative property, which is not valid for division. Property number 3 is property of 1, which states that whenever a rational number is divided by 1, the result remains unchanged. That is, suppose we have a rational number 10 when divided by 1. There is no change in the answer. The number remains as it is, that is 10. So we have learned all the properties of rational number, which includes addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Now the second topic that we have to learn is about representation of any rational number on number line, and the last part of the chapter is to find a rational number between any two rational number. These two topics we'll cover up in the numerical portion. So up till now we have completed the theoretical portion of chapter 1.